welcome to Show Me Something Wrong.
Oh, hey, where each episode one of us chooses a movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Guy, and for this mini-season, as we're calling it, we are focusing solely on rip-offs, unofficial sequels, and wrong adaptations. And for this episode, I have chosen the movie, and it is HOMOTI from 1987.
Well, we're a little bit rusty, Guy.
It's been a while.
When was the last time we recorded an episode? Like 6 months ago or something?
We did the mini for the Love Hotel murder. But an actual episode, I feel like it's been forever.
Been a long time.
It has been a long time. The last one was what? It was the Door and your one, Sabaku.
That's right.
Yeah.
Couldn't even remember which
episode
one it was.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
This mini-season will not have anywhere near that amount of episodes.
Yeah.
It's a come and
go. It's a mini-season.
It's a
come and go, yeah.
And then after that, we'll see what happens.
And we have been away for a good reason as well. As you would have heard in our last mini, we were filming the unsolved Love Hotel murder case incident.
There you go.
Which by the time you've heard this, will have premiered in the US.
Yeah.
At the Unnamed Footage Festival. And yeah, all the Indiegogo Blu-rays and DVDs have been shipped off. So hopefully a few of you have seen the film and enjoyed it.
That'd
and
be
if
nice.
you did, get onto Letterboxd. 5 stars only, please.
Yeah, so now that's finally out of the way. I guess we're just getting back into the podcast.
Yeah. Back to gay E.T.
Oh, you gave it away. We thought, in celebration of our rip-off and unofficial remakes and wrong adaptations season, it would be criminal to not talk about the world of Turkish rip-off cinema.
Oh, yeah.
AKA Turksploitation. Now, what is your relationship with Turksploitation?
When I think of Turksploitation, I immediately think of the Turkish Star Wars. I feel like that got quite a lot of mainstream. Like a lot of people know that
outside
one.
of Turkey as well.
Yeah. I remember going to like parties when I was in my 20s and people would throw on Turkish Star Wars and watch that.
That's definitely one of the more well-known ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the more fucked up ones in terms of like they had complete disregard for all types of copyright. Like they did not give a fuck. Like a lot of other Turkish films, like Turksploitation films, don't go to as extreme heights as Turkish Star Wars. So I think like that really is the pinnacle of Turksploitation.
Yeah. I can't really think of too many other ones that I've actually seen.
Yeah, I've not seen many just because they're not great.
Yeah, they're not that fun.
But yeah, for those who don't know, Turksploitation films are Turkish low-budget exploitation films, either remakes or use unauthorized footage from more popular films. More often than not, like American films tend to get the Turksploitation treatment. And these were mostly produced in the 70s and 80s. They were always filmed on shoestring budgets. They had terrible practical effects, special effects, complete disregard for copyright. So it would often just take entire scenes from the original films. They would use the soundtrack just as they were.
We got a lot of... And from other films as well. Just ripping it off willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Now, all of these films, whilst they do always have their own original title, they are more commonly known as just the original film, but with the word Turkish
right
lopped in front of it.
Yeah.
So you'll have, as you said, Turkish Star Wars, there's Turkish Rocky, Turkish Dirty Harry. There's a lot of Turkish stuff. Now, as we said before, Turkish Star Wars, I feel like this really is the greatest example of Turkish, or Turksploitation. Because not only does it reuse footage from the original Star Wars films, it also takes footage from Planet of the Apes, Battlestar Galactica, Moonraker, Flash Gordon, and for some reason has the music from Indiana Jones. So it's a fucking hodgepodge of just different movies mushed together to make Turkish Star Wars. Now, today, though, we are talking about one of everyone's favourite childhood films.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. Personally, I saw it once when I was a kid and never again.
I was going to ask you what your relationship with the movie E.T. is. The not HOMOTI, but E.T.
No, it's not a big one. I feel like I've seen more E.T. adaptations than I have E.T. itself.
Like E.T. ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was going to say that. I feel like this is the second most ripped off film of all time. Do you know what number one, I would say number one is?
Hang on.
So I'd say number two, E.T.
Okay.
And when I was researching for this pod and trying to find rip-off movies, there were so many fucking E.T. ones to choose from. I think this is probably the funniest one to talk about. But yeah, what do you think number one would be?
Is it another kids movie?
It's another Spielberg movie.
It's got to be Star Wars? No,
I'd say
Indiana?
I'd say Jaws. I'd say there are so many fucking Jaws ripoffs.
Yeah.
And then, E.T., I feel like it's a close second. Because Star Wars is harder to rip off, right? There's a lot...
Well, not if you take the footage from other films.
If you just take it directly from it. But I feel like, I don't know, Jaws and E.T., there's just so many fucking rip-offs of those two films. I wonder what Spielberg... Has he seen HOMOTI?
You're going to have to ask him. I don't have the answer to that. It's funny you say that, though, because there is also a Turkish Jaws.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Is it called, like, Cod or something like that? I think
it's
I might have seen that one.
It might be. That might be the English translation, but it is like, it's a 3-letter thing. It's like soul in Turkish. I don't fucking know. Cod.
I don't know why I thought it was cod.
But it could be the translation. I don't fucking know. But yeah, it is a
I think I've watched
Jaws adaptation.
I'm pretty sure I've watched that one.
Funnily enough, whilst we're on the subject, I was going to mention it later. A different Jaws ripoff appears in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not the Turkish Jaws.
Right.
And I don't know which one it is.
I thought that was just the original.
Is it the original?
I don't know. I thought it was footage.
Oh, fuck, it could be.
Maybe. I don't know.
It could be.
God knows. Who knows?
As you said, there's many a Jaws.
But yeah, so you've only seen the original E.T. as a kid.
As a kid, yeah.
I remember watching it a fair bit as a kid, but I remember it traumatizing me as a kid, as I think it traumatized many kids of my generation because of the scene where E.T. gets all fucking sick. Do you remember that?
No.
And E.T. goes white, and it's just creepy.
Is that what they do at all the experiments?
Yeah, they're doing experiments, and he's all like... Well, I remember just watching that as a kid being like, fuck this shit. This is so upsetting. And then recently I watched a film called Perfect Strangers by Larry Cohen.
I've not seen it.
You know Larry Cohen, right? It's Alive and Cue the Wings, like all that sort of stuff.
Cue the Wings is great.
That's a great film, yeah. But this film, I guess it's one of his lesser known films, but Vinegar Syndrome put it out. But there's a scene in it where it's like got this little kid in it. It's like this kid and his dad, and the dad's trying to get the kid to do something, and he's like, if you don't... I can't remember what he says exactly, but he's like, if you don't eat your vegetables, you're going to go all white like E.T. did. You didn't like it when E.T. went white. And I'm just like, holy shit. Other people have had this experience of being upset by E.T. going white.
Mutual trauma of E.T. going white. That's great. I'm going to start using that.
Other than that childhood trauma of watching E.T., I've not returned to it much as an adult. Maybe, I think I watched it, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, rewatched it and was like, I mean, it's a Spielberg film. It's a good
one
film.
Of those films that is parodied so much that you feel like you know it all, despite not having seen it or have not seen it for 20, 30 years,
Yeah, for sure.
He's in a bicycle, they fly past the moon, he's wearing a hood. Like,
he's wearing a hood.
I feel like it's one of those films like, I know this in and out despite not having seen it.
Yeah.
But as you said as well, like, E.T. has been adapted, parodied, remade in so many different forms, some very questionable forms as well. There's not just one, but multiple E.T. porn films.
Who is that for?
I don't know.
I remember like early days of the internet seeing like clips from the E.T. porn.
Was it the E.T. the Vagina, the German one?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's fucking disturbing. That's so disturbing. And E.T.'s just like on the bed getting railed.
Oh, God. So there's like a lady E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one with like a lady E.T. and there's one with a male E.T., right? Like another porno.
I found out about the male one more recently whilst doing research for this. So yeah, E.T. the Vagina, that's been around for ages. That's like a really gritty VHS fucking grimfest. And then I found that there's this one called E.T. XXX, which is a Dream Zone parody, who I guess is a company that just do a lot of porno parodies.
Right.
And that E.T. looks fucked. It looks fucking nightmarish. And in this porno, they even do the scene from E.T. where they put like the wig on it and shit.
Oh, God.
Can I just show you this?
Yeah,
it's so upsetting. Hang on. Here we go. Hang on. Oh, God.
Let's see.
I don't think you're ready for this, Dave.
What the Wait, hang on. What am I even looking at here? Oh, it's a pretty good, suit, actually. Oh my God. So I'm looking at E.T. in drag, shagging a lady.
Again, who the fuck is this for?
Yeah.
Oh, that is upsetting.
There are there's a lot of, oh my God. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, he's got a giant green dick. It's huge. Oh, that's upsetting.
It is.
I often think that with porn parodies, who the fuck is this for? And with this season,
certainly not Spielberg.
Yeah, he would be very upset by that. Yeah, I've watched just going through stuff that we could possibly do for this season. Some of the porno parodies, some of the porno parodies out there are just fucked. I found one for Beavis and Butthead. Have you ever seen that? I think it's called Beaver and Buttface or something.
Right.
And it's just so unironic because it's these guys with horrific prosthetics dressed up as Beavis and Butthead. God. And there's one, I can't remember what it was called, but a Jurassic Park porno parody. You might have.
I've seen some dinosaur fucking.
Yeah, this one was floating around in the early 2000s as well. I remember seeing a woman wanking off two pterodactyls.
I saw the pterodactyl scene. Yeah.
Just flapping their wings.
This is like way back.
Yeah,
right?
This is a long time ago.
I didn't know that was a Jurassic Park thing, though.
I think it is, yeah. But again, who are these things? Who's this for?
Paleontologists.
Yeah. But the E.T. is, it's upset. He's an upsetting looking creature.
He is.
You don't want to see him shoving his rotten old dick into things.
No. Well, thankfully, there's no... What did you say? Shoving his rotten old dick? There's no rotten old dick shoving in this movie. E.T. in Turkey. Not actual official E.T. in
Real
Turkey
E.T.
at the time. So due to the success of E.T. in America and Europe, there was already a massive fan base for E.T. in Turkey, right? Despite it not being released yet. And so people kind of got wind of this and thought they'd make a quick buck and decided to just release a ton of unofficial merch, as the Turkish do. So there's all these bootleg toys and posters and things all floating around. And it wasn't until 2 years later in 1984, so 2 years after it was released in America and Europe, that it would actually finally get released in Turkey. So whilst there were plans and motions to get the official film released in Turkey, one fella decided he's going to try and beat them to it because of this massive market that was just there. So he decided to make his own unofficial E.T. film, which is actually not the E.T. that we are talking about today.
I was going to say, this is late 80s, right?
Yeah, because there is not one but two E.T. ripoffs out of Turkey.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, Baddie.
Oh,
Have you seen that?
I've not seen this, but I know of it. Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Baddie is wrong.
It's Badi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Baddie, another Turkish E.T. ripoff. This was actually getting made whilst they were planning to release the official E.T. in Turkey. And they actually came out in cinemas alongside each other.
That's hilarious.
So, Baddie and E.T.
Wow. The poster for Baddie is just absolutely cooked. It's fucking demented. E.T. looks like he's fucking having a panic attack or Baddie, I guess
he
he's called.
He looks a bit like one of those Mars Attacks aliens with a big brain.
Oh god, he kind of looks like Ron Howard's brother, Clint Howard, a bit as well.
Yeah, it's an upsetting looking film, and I've not seen the whole thing, just clips, but it's pretty fucked. However, Baddie, or maybe it's Bardi. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
I like Baddie. Let's stick with Baddie.
He's a baddie. It was marketed for children. The tagline was like child's best friend or something. Something that was specifically marketed for children. Which is crazy because if you look at the clips, it's the most terrifying fucking little man in a suit you'll ever see. Now, today's movie though, not baddie. A different E.T. adaptation out of Turkey, which is the first. I'm not sure if it's the only, judging by the recent porno adaptations, but at least the first. Just make sure I get all these letters correct. LGBTQ plus adaptation. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't judge me. Like, it's hard to get all of them.
Guy's a simple man. He doesn't know these things.
I don't. And that's a lot of letters.
You're going to have to add E.T. to the letters. LPGT plus.
So the plus is the aliens.
Yeah.
Now, real life story now. Turkey, being an Islamic country, Muslim.
Yeah, I really wondered about this.
So the LGBT plus ET community have a very hard uphill struggle. Like
I can imagine.
It's pretty fucking full on.
Yeah.
Now, homosexuality in Turkey is legal, unlike a lot of other Islamic countries. But gay marriage is not, nor are there any protection laws that prevent discrimination against people of that community.
Right.
So this includes housing discrimination, employment discrimination, can't serve in the military. There's no like freedom of free speech in there. So like there's no parades, there's no open stuff. And anything that is open, like for example, parades, or in a lot of countries there's the pride festivals, this kind of stuff. Anything they try to do will be shut down by the police. Right. This is current times now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, though, holy shit, that was a different thing altogether.
Right.
It was full on. In 1980, you might be aware of this. So there was the coup in Turkey where they
The coup.
Turkey declared a state of emergency against left-wing activists, and the military arrested, tortured, and killed activists. There were openly gay and transgender people that were subject to abuse, torture, rape, and exile at the hands of the soldiers. And even after the state of emergency had been lifted, people were still being arrested on the basis of their orientation. All in all, it's a pretty not shitty time to be gay in Turkey.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah, it must be tough. So when they started to make all of these like unofficial films and rip-offs and things, they would always weave in this like subplot, which wasn't included in the source material, and it would always be a romance subplot, right? And it would be focusing on a brave male lead who was very handsome, had very strong nationalistic values, falls in love with a beautiful woman, and would always like basically promote heterosexuality, nationalism in Turkey, which was their state policy.
Right.
So they were constantly pushing this.
Right.
So if you see like any Turkish Turksploitation or unofficial adaptation, there's always this weird subplot where like the guy always gets the girl, and they're like, have kids.
Yeah.
Be a nationalist. Anyway, so one guy, Mujat Gezen, says, fuck this. Goes against all of that and decides to make a big old gay alien film, defying all the social rules at that time, and still is one of the only positive portrayals of a gay character in Turkish cinema.
Yeah, I really wondered about this. So do you know if he's gay? The guy that made this film?
Oh, that's a good question. He's actually a comedian.
Right.
Which is strange because he's not funny at all.
Yeah. Deeply unfunny. Man.
Yeah. But he kind of does a lot of political activism as well. Right. I don't know if he is gay himself. But he's
promoting...
going against the man, if you will. This film was written, directed, and starring Mujat Gezen, who, apparently a famous comedian. And according to him, he made this film HOMOTI just for a laugh. And if there were a list of the top 10 worst movies ever, this should be included in it. Now, this film, HOMOTI, has never actually had an official release, unlike Baddie, which did actually have an official release in the cinema. So this, the way that this actually got leaked and made available was it made its way to Germany at some point, and some German guys started bootlegging it.
Right.
And then, it just made its way onto the internet. Huh. And in more recent times, the director was just like, what the fuck? How did you guys even see this?
Right.
Like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was supposed to be made for a bigger audience, but it's somehow now online through this German bootlegger or something. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta say, with the gay themes of this movie, the whole time I was watching this, I'm like, is this meant to be, is this like, am I watching something homophobic that's making fun of gay people? Or is this a I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh, I think it's totally pro-gay.
By the end, I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah.
But it also has, like, I don't know, there's some weird stuff in this. Like, but anyway, we'll get to it when we get to those scenes.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
Quite a fascinating backstory. So this never screened in theaters in Turkey.
No, it never even got a official release, apparently. Right. I have seen a picture of a VHS of it, though, but I don't know if that's an official or a bootleg or whatever, but all the sources that I have read say that it never got officially released.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least in cinemas, it certainly didn't. Yeah. Yeah. So, should we get into it?
Yes, let's do
HOMOTI.
What a title.
What a title.
I'm not going to lie, mate. The whole time watching this, when I saw the title, I never put two and two together, and I was reading it as HOMOTI.
Oh, really?
And then, like, maybe in the last, like, quarter of the film, I'm like, oh, it's HOMOTI. Oh, he's gay. And it, like, took me that long to realize
Seriously?
it. Yeah. I don't know why.
But he's, like, very gay.
Yeah, and I realized, I think there's, like, a scene where it's, like, he's very, very gay. But even then, I didn't make the connection with the name.
Oh, my God.
But then there's a bit where, like, one of the characters calls him just homo. And then I'm like, oh, right, I see. Yeah. But I don't know why, but whenever I read the title, I just read it as HOMOTI. And I thought it was some Turkish word.
Same as, like, baddie and bardie, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
HOMOTI.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Right. So, opening shot is a wobbly one. So, I guess we could talk about the production or the budget.
Oh, the budget?
This looks like shit.
I thought are you talking about the absolute first thing that you see, which is the CGI, I guess you would call that CGI title of HOMOTI coming up with Jesus Christ Superstar playing in the background. So immediately it's like stealing music.
Right.
And like we've just got this absolutely insane, I don't know if you can even call it CGI. I don't know what it looks like, you know when you go bowling and you hit a strike and you get that animation, it looks like that.
Yep.
And then we just cut into this, like, fucked up opening credit sequence of just shots of random objects.
It is, and it's all, like, handheld, wobbly-ass shots of just, like, panning around the room. And it's just things. And it's just like, look at all this cool shit I have.
Yeah, this guy's got a lot of things in his house. None of it has anything to do with HOMOTI.
No. But I think because he is the director and writer, he was like, yeah, look at all this cool shit I have. And he tries very fucking hard to paint himself in the coolest picture throughout this film.
Do you reckon this is his real house? Probably.
I reckon that's his real bike.
Oh yeah, I think so as well. You know, something else watching this the whole time that I just could not tell, because it is like a shitty bootlegged version of it we're watching. I can't tell if it's shot on video or film, because there's shots where I'm like, oh, that looks like film, because you can see the grain even amongst all the horrible video bootleggy stuff. But then there's other scenes that are definitely video.
I think it was all shot on like home video equipment.
Right. I was wondering if it was like TV cameras. It has like a sitcom kind of look to it almost.
The whole thing feels like a sitcom.
Yeah, there's times where I just kept thinking about Full House when I was watching it. The whole time I just kept imagining that I was watching an episode of Full House. Because also, Istanbul's quite a nice looking place. It kind of looks a bit like wherever Full House is shot, like San Francisco.
Right.
But then HOMOTI would show up and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's not Full House.
What are the twins coming back?
Yeah.
But we get our introduction to Ali, who's the main character, who is the writer, director, and star of this film, who, as I said, just tries very fucking hard to be very fucking cool the entire film. Now, he is the most clunky person on film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He is just not smooth whatsoever, which is told or shown very clearly in the opening shot of him. It's like a bird's eye shot. He leaves his apartment and he's getting filmed from high up above. And he's taking fucking ages to lock his door. He can't get his keys out properly. It's all unintentional.
Yeah.
And then he goes over to his bike and he can't get the bike started. And then when he does, he kind of like jerks forward a bit. And then he's like fucking driving off. And then we get the establishing shot of him and he's on a fucking tricycle.
I wrote it down as a tricycle. It's like a 3-wheeled motorbike, but it's very uncool.
It's very uncool.
It kind of looks like he's riding like a ride-on lawnmower for all the scenes with him. And it doesn't go that fast. No. And he's in like a red leather jacket.
He's got his shades on as well.
Yeah, shades on. And just to describe how he looks, he's sort of got thinning hair, but kind of long, and a big dirty mustache as well.
A full-on beard. Wow, it's like it goes around the whole way. Big beard.
And he's just a very... not a cool looking man, is he? And like, as you mentioned, like him locking the door and stuff, there is just so many fucking shots that are not necessary.
Oh yeah.
This film is 80 minutes long. It felt like 5 hours because it's about like 10 minutes of content, I reckon, dragged out to 80 minutes. It's exhausting. So many scenes that we do not need to see.
No. Which is also, when I was writing my notes for this, I was like, fuck, this is the first episode that we've done in a while, and I probably picked the most boring film. Like, on paper, it's funny. It's fucking gay E.T. from Turkey in a rip-off film, but the content of this film is so...
It's dull.
Unbelievably dull.
It's very dull.
So it's up to us to make it fun. It's
also shot in a fucking sickening way. And I mentioned, like, it feels like a sitcom.
Yeah.
But there's also shots where I'm like, what is this shot? Like, there's early on with him on his little fucking tricycle, there's a shot where it feels like they're doing, I don't know what it's called, but that Hitchcock shot where you're like pulling out and zooming in at the same time. Yeah. And I was feeling like physically sick watching this shot. And I'm like, what's the point of this, of them filming this in this style?
Do not remember that. For me, it felt like there was a lot of just like camera on a tripod, one static shot. Yeah. And it's most of the time just them on a sofa talking.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're in the coffee shop in Friends. You're just watching Friends chat.
I would argue Friends is far more dynamic than this film.
It is.
There's a shot on a couch later on that we can talk about that I think is maybe the worst shot I've ever seen in a film.
So anyway, Ali goes into work. He's a reporter for a newspaper, but he hasn't produced anything good for a while. The boss isn't very happy.
He also asked the boss, instead of "How are you?" he says, "How am I?"
There's a couple of moments like that, which I'm not sure if it's just the bad subtitles.
But the editor replies to that. He's like, "What are you fucking saying? How am I?"
Right.
That's not.
There's a few moments like that. One of my favorite, like, I'm jumping ahead, but I'm going to say it because it's relevant now, where there's a character who gets introduced later, and when he sees HOMOTI, he goes, "Don't come any closer or I'll kill myself."
Oh god, what the fuck?
Yeah, so anyway, how am I? Ali he's saying all the recent stories that he got for the newspaper. Apparently none of them were any good. He put a fake whale in the ocean.
And they actually flash back to that as well. And that was like shot on like a fucking, dad's handycam or something, of like this weird whale thing. What is that?
It's just a flash, and it's like there for like fucking 10 seconds. They made a fucking fake whale to put into the ocean. And then it's like, oh, and then my next story, you can become a helicopter within like 2 lessons. And they actually rented a helicopter and flew around and stuff. And it's like, why are you spending this insane amount of money on these weird little flashbacks?
And they refer to these stories as asparagus stories.
That's it. The chief of the newspaper is like, this is all asparagus news.
Which they don't explain what that means until much later in the film. And I was just like, is this a mistake in the subtitles? What the fuck is an asparagus story?
Yeah.
And to be fair, even when they explain it later on, I didn't really understand the explanation. But basically it means fake stories, right?
Yeah, fake news, asparagus news. But yeah, there's this whole backstory to it that he explains later, which is... it doesn't make any sense.
I like... The second time I watched it, I tried to pay attention to try and understand it, and I just gave up.
I'm surprised you actually watched it twice. So anyway, he's got all these asparagus stories, and the chief is like, "You're hyping these up as if you've seen a flying saucer." And then he's like, "Oh, would that make the news? Okay, I'll be back tomorrow with a flying saucer."
Back on the tricycle.
So he's in his garden, throwing plates around. And photographing them in the air, when suddenly an actual fucking UFO comes down, lands in his garden, and he walks up to it, goes to photograph it, but for some reason doesn't. He's been photographing plates in the
He's
sky.
a real saucer, and he stops himself.
He's like, no. He's like, I'll just go check it out. And then that is where we meet HOMOTI,
who immediately introduces himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm HOMOTI." HOMOTI talks a lot. He doesn't shut up, actually.
No. But he says the same thing all the time.
He's like, "Oh, I'm HOMOTI."
Is that your impression of him?
His voice is like, it's kind of, what do you say, like ethereal kind of voice where he sounds like he's like floating around.
Sure.
And it's kind of this weak, like, kind of voice,
It is, but I laughed every time he said his name, because he introduces himself a lot in this film, and every time it's like, I'm HOMOTI.
Merhaba. Ben HOMOTI.
He's very gentle. He's a gentle guy.
How would you describe the look of HOMOTI?
Well,
We've got to talk about that.
yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. I said to you just before that I saved a few images of HOMOTI to my phone, and I've just been showing it to friends. I'm like, "What do you think of this?" And their reaction is like horror, absolute horror seeing him. You can tell that he's meant to be an ET parody. So he's got the big fucking bulbous head.
Yeah.
He clearly is supposed to have eyes that open and close, but they just don't open. So they're permanently kind of closed. You just see like a bit of his fucked up eyes. And then his lips are fucking disgusting. And every time they did a close-up of his fucking lips, it looks like a sort of withered anus.
I literally wrote, it looks like a prolapsed anus.
And it's so fucking grim. And he's always, like, there's shots where they're, like, moving it a bit.
Yeah.
So it's, like, sort of this puckered anus. And then it's, like, sucking in sometimes when he's... But his best feature, by far, when you see him walking from behind or from the side, he's got this massive Kim Kardashian-sized butt.
Yep.
Like, absolutely fucking huge. Do you remember that photo of Kim Kardashian from like 10 years ago where it was like a champagne spraying up in the air and landing on her ass behind her? Like, I just kept thinking of that every time I saw HOMOTI's fucking fat butt.
Oh, we should do a little image of that. Have him, HOMOTI breaking the internet.
With the champagne.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Glass hanging off his butt. It is a massive protruding butt.
And
it's huge.
It's a disgraceful piece of art design or whatever you want to call it. It's a disgraceful costume.
I read somewhere that the costume was made of paper mache.
It does not surprise me. The face kind, but
it kind of moves a bit, so I'm not sure if that's true or not.
But there's so many moments here. I'm assuming little person inside, unless it's a child, inside HOMOTI. It clearly cannot see anything, clearly can barely walk, so most of the shots of HOMOTI either lying down or sitting down, barely moving, just sort of flopping about a little bit.
He almost looked like, he looks like he's like in a vegetative state or something, because he's just there, just like, he can't walk.
Yeah.
And when he's on the sofa, like, people have to pick him up to put him on the sofa.
Yeah.
As you said, his eyes don't move. He moves his arms a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's pretty much inanimate.
There's multiple times where people have to put something in his hand for him, and you can see the person cannot take it, and then just cuts to a close-up and it's suddenly in his hand.
There's a great scene later where they're like, oh yeah, let's have a drink. And they just like place the glass, like rest it on his elbow or something because he can't hold anything.
Oh god. But yeah, he's fucking nightmarish. It's a nightmarish costume.
It really is. Yeah.
I
think
it.
He's supposed to be friendly. I don't know, but the fact that he doesn't blink or he doesn't have any emotions in his face, he just comes across really creepy
and sad, just sad. He looks like he's dying. He looks like any moment now he's just gonna wither away.
Yeah.
But every time, just the close-ups on his face, every cut to one of those, I felt like part of me died inside.
Oh man,
quite genuinely. Like it was.
You must be fucked then.
Yeah,
there was
I
a lot
watched
of them.
And I watched it twice.
HOMOTI.
Oh god.
So of course Ali's just like, hey, where are you from? And HOMOTI drops the completely irrelevant line of, if you do this interview, they'll take me back. I don't want to go back. Completely unprovoked.
Yeah, and his sort of backstory makes no sense. Actually, before we get to that, do we talk about him stepping on that stone?
Yes. So he's like, let's go inside. So they walk through the garden. Ali trips over a rock, hurts himself. And what does Homo do? HOMOTI do?
HOMOTI steps on this rock and it squishes.
Like a sponge.
Like a sponge. And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, so he's strong or heavy. It's not relevant.
No.
At all.
No. We never come back to anything like that.
No.
We never see him once use like his strength.
Yeah, so it's a very, very odd moment.
So they go to the sofa, which is where
most of the movie
it
takes
really is. But he can't get on the sofa because his little legs don't reach it, and he's in a very awkward costume. So Ali picks him up very awkwardly, and he's just like, and he sits on the sofa. Ali puts a cloth over him, I believe, I think to hide the fact that the bottom of this costume is
it's a mess.
It's just cut off. Like, so he's like, slipped it over the top of him, and then he's wearing these little tights or something, but there's a massive gaping hole at the bottom.
Yeah. I think when he has that blanket on him, it really adds to the sense that he's like this sickly, dying creature.
It almost looks like, like you said, a sick, dying grandma or something with a blanket on their lap.
I think this part as well, like, we get HOMOTI's backstory, which I just found very confusing. So he tells us at first that he wanted to get away from space because Americans are arming outer space for Star Wars purposes. Yeah. But then he also, am I right? Did I misunderstand this? He also says that his planet of Homon.
Yeah, he's from Homon.
His planet of Homon is, it has a dictatorship.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to get caught by the dictator and battered about. This makes no sense to me, this dictatorship kind of point, because everything else that this little cunt has to say about his planet is like, oh, it's like super peaceful and we get along like a house on fire and
said
no one dies.
There's no hate, there's no death, there's only love, there's no marriage, but everyone loves each other. But he says everything as if it's like this harmonious place.
Yeah, but there's a dictatorship.
He also says if he goes back, they'll punish him. And this is the whole, like, the thing that powers the entire movie.
Yeah.
He's begging Ali not to do this interview for the paper because if he does, he'll get caught and they'll punish him. Right.
What is the punishment?
Did you not get that?
No, what was it?
The punishment, which literally drives this entire film, is he won't be able to leave the house for a day.
That's the punishment?
That's the punishment. For a day.
Wow.
Now, I willingly not leave my house for days at a time.
Days,
But he's like, no, you can't interview me. They'll punish me. I don't want to go back. I won't be able to leave my house for a day. And Ali, who has caught an alien, who's like, oh my goodness, of course, I will not run the interview.
A HOMOTI would not have done well in COVID times.
No. So that's it, and literally that drives the entire film.
Wow.
Because later on, we get kidnappings, we get buddy cops, we get the whole lot, and the whole thing is so he doesn't get stuck inside his house for a single day.
And also the irony of this, because while he's on Earth, he doesn't fucking leave Ali's house. He's on that couch for fucking weeks, festering away. What the fuck? Come on, HOMOTI.
Come on.
I love the cut to the next scene is quite amazing, because it just cuts to a huge amount of balloons.
Right.
And the dialogue, the guy's selling the balloons. He says, balloons for babies. And that's it. There's no reason for this man selling balloons when he's selling them to babies.
For the babies. Babies love a balloon.
Do babies love balloons?
Who doesn't love a balloon?
I suppose they'd be okay with a balloon.
Sure.
Why not?
I don't have one. I don't know. I don't know what they're like.
Well, a balloon or a baby?
Both. But this is where we get introduced to one of the most annoying characters ever. Mache, I believe her name is. Now,
fuck this character. I hate this character.
She's written to be hated for the most part. She is so fucking annoying and shrill. And we just have this long, I guess, montage sequence of her going around to various local businesses like the butcher, the grocer, and just being an annoying cunt.
She's just like essentially stealing from them. She's just like so annoying that they give her stuff for free.
They're like, get out of my shop. Like literally, you don't even have to pay. Just leave now. And she's like, thank you very much. That's her whole thing. Yeah. So she does that in every shop. And when I was watching, I was like, so this has got to be like the villain of the story.
Nope.
No, it's Ali's best mate.
Yeah.
Who?
It's Ali's like maid?
Is it? They seem to live together. I don't know.
She later on mentions living somewhere else, but it seems that she's the maid, because she sort of does stuff for Ali, and I think she's shopping for Ali, but I don't know if it's ever said directly. Right. But I think she's meant to be some kind of housekeeper or something.
Right. I mean, that would make sense. But then in this film, it is so much like a sitcom in the way that characters just come and go all the time. And so you got this hatchet lady walking into Ali's place, you got all of his mates, and it's like, hey, it's like the Foz coming in just like, hey, and everyone's like, woo, and then they're like, whoa, there's a HOMOTI, you know? And from start to finish, she's just this very annoying, shrill character who,
very hard to watch.
Very hard, but I don't know why they painted her in that picture, because she's so annoying, not just for the viewer, but for the other characters. Yet she's a main character who we're supposed to like. She's not even, outside of that, those like scenes, she's not written in a negative way.
No. And Ali seems to love her.
Baffling.
So then we're back to Ali's house, and what's her name again? Hache comes in, and HOMOTI's just rambling about democracy. He fucking loves democracy. But then when she comes in and sees HOMOTI, there's like this close-up of his face, like sucking his lips in. And it's fucked. It's really horrible. And she faints, right? She faints upon seeing this, as you would, because it's quite fucked. But she very quickly recovers from seeing HOMOTI, and is just like, oh, okay, you've just got this HOMOTI in here. Fine.
Everyone is like that. No one's really shocked that there's a gay alien.
Yeah, the most you get is someone going like, whoa, oh, okay. And she probably has the biggest reaction where she faints, but then she's totally fine with it seconds later.
Yeah.
Ben HOMOTI. HOMOTI'yim ben.
HOMOTI's got a bit of sass as well, which I kind of like. Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's intentional or if it's just bad subtitling, but they have this conversation, HOMOTI and Hache, and she's like, how old are you? And HOMOTI in his voice, oh, we don't age in Homom. And she's like, I got it. And he goes, no, you didn't. But it's like he throws in these little like sly remarks every now and again.
Oh my god, the bit that happens here is probably one of the funniest things I think in the film.
Oh yeah.
Where so Ali is like, he's gonna go off to see the editor because he's like, I've got to do this. I got to do this HOMOTI interview. It's the only thing that's gonna save my career. And then HOMOTI's like, please don't. I'll tell you what, I got these special powers. Check these out. And this is so fucking mental, man. So he basically, like, this sort of animation bursts out of his face. Yeah. And then we cut into this fucking terrible CGI sequence of like playing cards, like floating around in the air, and this is like late 80s, like dog shit CGI. But what I loved, oh my god, did you notice this on one of the cards? When the cards flip over, it says chroma key on the back of one of the cards. Wait, I wrote down all the things that it said. So like we've got this sequence of like cards flipping around, and it says chroma key on one of them, and on the other it says video post-production.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, was this just like some like sequence they bought from a post-production company, and they've just sandwiched it into the film to show his powers? Which don't really make any sense in this moment. Like you can create like a CGI virtual reality sort of thing, or
it looks like, imagine you go to a casino and play one of like the poker slot machines or whatever, like the automated machines, not against the person but as a computer, and it looks like one of those animations that would play on the screen. Very, very similar to, as you said before, like a bowling alley animation. And those are his magical powers. And it is cards like floating around, and it's like one of them like turns over as if that's the one that you have chosen, like, oh, I think this is that guy. But
it's insane.
It's bizarre, because why the fuck would they show a card animation?
And not only that, they didn't even bother to remove the thing that said video post-production.
It's wild.
I had to rewind that a few times because it broke my brain.
And it's not even like kind of embedded in the scene itself. They haven't like superimposed it. No, they just cut to another animation. And is the suggestion here is he projecting this into Ali's mind? I don't know. I'm not sure. Don't know. But he can do it. But Ali's impressed by it. He's like, I can't believe it. And with that, I won't run the story. So this is where we get introduced to the babe of the newspaper, the love interest. Now, names in this film are very tough to pronounce. But I think I wrote her name and then how I would pronounce it. I believe it's Aishagil. I love that you started confident. I know. I started to second guess myself. I was like, wait, did I type that right? Aishagil. Aishagil. But then they shorten it later on to just Aish. Let's call her Aish. Aish. Babe of the newspaper. Yeah. She is the intern who has been paired with Ali, who is not happy about it. So all of a sudden, it's like buddy cop formula. He's like, what? I don't want no partner. Yeah. I'm a lone wolf. But then they very quickly discard that. And moments later, they're having a coffee, having a giggly little chat. Loving music playing on top. Yeah. And it's fine. He's just like, oh yeah, sorry about being a bit annoyed before. And she's like, yeah, whatever. What a stupid fucking film. Fuck this film. Then we cut to Hatche back at home. So I guess she's a live-in maid because she has guests that come visit her. Right, yeah. So her fabulously gay friend Haydar comes a-knocking. That was his name. Okay, Haydar. Who sees Homoti, screams, and says the fantastic line, "Don't come near me or I'll kill myself." Doesn't he also say when Homoti's like stumbling around the house, like this is the shot of him stumbling around the house, and Haydar says, "Is he a monkey or a car?" Yeah. Which is like they're very different things. And just to explain Haydar, like he is very cranked up to 11 camp, like super camp. So this is where I was like not sure what this film was, whether it was like not anti-gay but like making fun of gay stuff, or if it was a pro-gay film. But like you said, it's I guess it's definitely in this political climate that it's made. Yeah, it's not demonizing any gay characters. No, there's never anything that paints homosexuality in a negative way in this film. Except for maybe this character of Haydar. He's a bit full on. He's just, And there's some moments with him where I was like, it's borderline. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, as you said, he calls Homoti a monkey and a car. And a car. And then Homoti starts crying. Not pleased with that. No. But then I'm not quite sure how it came to this situation, but Haydar's just like, "You're cute," to Homoti. And then Homoti starts like blushing
Yeah.
So I think that's the first sign we get that he's a homoti.
And also that Haydar says, "You're so gay" to him as well.
Benim adım Homoti.
Benimki de Haydar.
I love this as well, like, Hachi comes over to, like, comfort Homoti, and he starts hugging her, but there's just all these shots, which is the beginning of a running thing in this film.
Yes.
Of, like, her face with his hands just, like, coming in, touching all over her face, sticking his fingers in her eyes, and...
That is, like, the only good running gag throughout this entire film. I actually laughed during this scene quite a lot, because at first it's subtle, they're, like, hugging, and he's, like, giving her, like, a tap with how far his little arms can extend to.
Yeah.
But then it just, like, gets more and more drastic and exaggerated, and he's just, like, rubbing his hands and, like, fucking poking her eyes and stuff. And she's like, stop it, Homoti, stop it, Homoti.
He also, like, rubs himself as well.
Yes. Canım. Dur canım. Oğlum yapma diyorum. Bak. İşte bak.
But yeah, he's rubbing his fingers all over her face, and she comes out with the line, "Tell a lunatic to flirt and he'll shit on your carpet." Meaning what?
I don't know. There's a lot of moments like that in this.
Tell a lunatic to flirt and he'll shit on your carpet. Where do you even begin to make sense of that?
It's a pretty great line, though.
It is, but I don't know where to use it.
No. We should just start using it daily. Until it works.
Yeah.
Just keep trying.
So then we come back to Ali and the intern. They're already in love, walking along the docks, kissing, but...
Just, like, immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but she senses that he's, hiding a secret from her, and he's just like, you got a girlfriend, haven't you? You got a wife back home. He's like, no.
No. I got a homoti.
If he's like, I got a gay alien.
Yeah, I got a gay alien, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a girlfriend. This is my favorite thing. Like, he brings Aish.
He fucking brings everyone. He doesn't care. He's like, yeah, come back to mine. See my gay alien.
He's like, check out this gay alien. But her reaction is the funniest because she does not bat an eyelid. She literally, like, so everyone else, we've had Haydar being a bit shocked.
Yeah.
We've had Hachi faint. This woman, literally nothing.
Right.
It would just be like, just seeing a regular person in the room. Like, that's her reaction. Just like, oh, okay. I see. You've got a gay alien.
Oh, there he is, the gay alien.
And Homoti's reaction to her entering, he's quite jealous immediately.
Yeah.
Because he loves Ali. He's got a little suitcase.
Oh, yeah, he's already packed up, ready
He's
to
packed
go.
up his suitcase. He's like, I'm out of here. And it's like wrapped up. It's got like a little,
It's like an
little
LED
Christmas
light.
Yeah, LED lights wrapped around his suitcase to make it look futuristic. Fucking garbage. And, like, I love he's, like, immediately grilling Ali. He's like, so are you guys a couple? Or what's going on here?
He's like a jealous wife, isn't he?
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
And this is where we get that explanation of the asparagus news. Yeah.
Which is, I feel, is not worth going into because it makes no fucking sense.
I made a note.
All right, well, let's hear it.
I'll tell you what, I'll say it how he says it, and then I will leave it up to the people to see if the person who listens, if it makes sense or not.
We'll leave 10 seconds of silence after you say it, and, like, some thinking music so you can process it at home.
Maybe the Homoti theme song or something.
Is there a theme song? That's a Jesus Christ.
Or we could just have him
Superstar
saying
theme song.
Homoti.
Yeah, just over and over.
So, apparently, it is a term in newspaper journalism for fake news. In the past, someone gathered some weird-looking teenagers and photographed them. Made a news report called "The Lost Asparagus Community Has Arrived." Ever since then, fake news is being called asparagus news.
Ben Homoti. Ben Homoti. Homoti. Homoti. Homoti. Homoti.
Okay, moving on.
Did you get it? Did you get it all? And then you're like, I see what you did there. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
I do love in this bit as well, Homoti has to have the concept of lying explained to him. He's like,
Right.
what's a lie?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Homoti.
There's a couple of, like, silly scenes from here where,
Milkman delivering milk and Homoti grabbing the milk. Yeah, whatever.
Skip over
Fuck
that.
off.
Now, Ali decides about his new story because he can't. He will not print the interview with HOMOTI, so he's like, right, here's the news story. It is an Arabian prince has come over on a flying carpet.
Fuck you, Al.
So, and HOMOTI's going to help with that, of course, because he's got the card playing powers, so he can do that. So they go to the airstrip and they rent an aeroplane for their grand plan. They rented an airplane for this. In this movie, they had the funds to rent not just a helicopter, but also an airplane.
Ali does seem to be quite rich.
Well, he's got a tricycle.
Yeah, he's got that tricycle.
And all that cool shit he played at the beginning of his film. It's like showing around the room. So they're in the airstrip and they rent an airplane. Apparently it's free because they're journalists. And that's one of the perks of being a journalist. And he gets the babe to hop into the plane. And he's like, you're going to photograph us flying around. They go up into the sky. And we cut to one of the greatest green screen uses of all time. And it is Ali and an Arabian prince, we can only assume, on a magic carpet flying through the sky.
What a story, what a scoop.
And the whole thing is... The whole airplane thing was so, like, the intern's going to photograph them flying, right?
Yeah, but then he's, like, photographing... It's very confusing, the whole thing.
Yeah, he's photographing, right? And we never actually see... any photographs, nor a printed newspaper of any kind whatsoever. That is a very extravagant thing to splurge on.
Yeah.
Like, renting a fucking airplane.
And producing nothing from it.
Just so they can say that the intern photographed them.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually ever see her photographing anyone.
Well, I think she's got a video camera and is filming it to show the editor.
Oh,
because there's a bit where they're like, they've rented a video camera. But regardless... It's fucking stupid. Can I just say, before we move on from this, we did skip a scene that's narratively not important at all.
Right.
But there's a bit where Haydar comes over and has a fucking chat to HOMOTI. And I just gotta say, there's a shot with them all lined up on a couch.
Yeah.
And it's the worst shot I've ever fucking seen.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the fucking ugliest shot. It's not centered properly. It's just all the characters in a row. And... it's hideous. Yeah. And I hated it so much. I hated it. This is such an ugly film. So then they've filmed this magic carpet crap, right? And they want to show it to the editor of the newspaper to prove that he's not just doing asparagus stories or fake news or whatever it is. So the editor's like, come over.
He's in their home,
And he's... watching this footage that looks so shit. Like you said, the worst green screen shit you could see. But he's just like, what? This is incredible. It's like blowing his mind. Yeah. And then HOMOTI just stumbles into the room and introduces himself. I'm HOMOTI. And the editor is just like having his mind broken.
Can you imagine?
To pieces. Yeah. But he's just like, look, this magic carpet footage... love it. It's great. Amazing. But we can't publish it because no one will believe it. So, as you said, a total waste of money.
Yeah.
In every possible way. And now the editor knows about HOMOTI. Yeah. That they were trying to keep secret from him.
But Ali's like, he's like, forgive me, boss. HOMOTI was going to be punished. And boss is like, I get it.
I got you. I got you, HOMOTI.
Not a care in the world. No questions asked.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, fine.
No follow.
Yeah. But the old chief, he's like, you know what, kid?
You're right.
You got a head for journalism. Let's drink to that.
You've got a head for journalism. Yeah, good job. You got an alien to create a fake story. Yeah. Well done.
So Hachi walks in with the champagne, pops the... Oh, sorry. When I don't know if you noticed this because it's so subtle. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it. Hachi pops the champagne cork and HOMOTI goes like, oh. He has like a really subtle like and then HOMOTI gets fucking trashed.
Yeah. I love they're like immediately drunk. One sip and he's hiccuping.
He's done.
And Hachi is like off in the fucking kitchen just by herself. Yeah. Getting smashed on, I don't know, some fucking rotten like something that's not champagne. It looks like milk. And she's just like scoffing
she's
it down.
Like mixing all kinds of stuff in the kitchen on her own.
She's like smoking and drinking and she's singing this like fucking horrific song just by herself. And then Ali's like, come on, get in here, Hachi. And she comes in all fucking wasted. And both her and HOMOTI are like hiccuping and like absolutely fucked beyond repair. It's a fucking nightmare.
It really is. We get another great line where HOMOTI, he goes to her. After this whole like happy thing that they did, the singing and the dancing and the hugging, and HOMOTI's like, I'm so lonely.
Yeah, well then the film that takes quite a drastic turn here. Because like the editor leaves.
Yeah.
And Ali and the intern go off as well. And we get this absolutely fucking weird scene of HOMOTI and Hachi having this weird, like, deep conversation.
Where like marriage and stuff?
Yeah, and like, and HOMOTI is like talking about love and romance. And I will say, I've written a note here. This film is fucked. Of course.
Was that your note?
There's nothing representing reality here at all. However, this did feel like quite an accurate recreation of a drunken conversation because it's so illogical.
Yeah.
And HOMOTI is like crying and it's this horrible shot of his ugly fucking face with just like water gushing out of his eye holes. And then he's like saying he wishes that Ali loved him and he loves Ali, and it gets a bit full on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this next bit is the funniest thing in the film, I think. Hachi starts singing that fucked up song again, and there's lots of like HOMOTI's touching her face while she's singing and stuff.
Again, yeah.
And then HOMOTI's like, I've got a song of my own. It's called Love is Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I would argue that this is not a song. What is the definition of a song? You have to have some, like, instruments playing. You gotta have some singing. I don't think a song is a gay alien just saying some words.
Doesn't
you know?
even sing, does
it's
he?
more like spoken word.
Yeah.
Sevgi güzeldir, güzeldir sevgi. Bir ağacı, bir kuşu, toprağı sevmek gibi.
But to a fantastic montage of, like, nature shots. Of, like, the bees buzzing in the grass and stuff.
It's so fucking weird.
There's another one of those great back and forth between Hachi and HOMOTI where she's like, she explains marriage to him and he's like, oh, I get it. And she goes, no, you're fucking not.
Yeah.
And then HOMOTI back on the sofa, or maybe still on the sofa, I don't know. He's watching Jaws.
Yeah.
Maybe the original, maybe a ripoff. I don't know. He's scared out of his fucking mind. And he's like, fuck this. I'm going home. I'm going back to Homon.
Can't handle Jaws.
No, he's dumb. And Hachi's just like, whoa, it's just a model. And she explains the difference between life and a model. And then HOMOTI's like, I'm in sorrow. And then Hachi's like, my sister's an alcoholic. And it's like another, like, hang on, what the fuck are we talking about? And then they have another weird, like, comfort session. And HOMOTI, like, starts to kiss her.
Yeah, that was fucking full on. HOMOTI's just, like, fucking kissing her. And it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's not right.
No.
It's troubling. It's troubling.
It is. It's not good. It's not good.
It made me feel very bad.
It was worse than, like, I mean, when if somehow feels worse because we know that he loves Ali, and then he's just like, oh, I'm gonna just like start trying to just try my luck with this maid, you know.
I also love in this scene that we have all this like weird shit between the two characters, and then it cuts to a wide shot of the house. I'm like, okay, good, the scene's over. Then it just cuts back into the same scene.
Oh.
You think it's finally over, but it's the same scene. Oh, fuck this film.
But this is when we get introduced to a new character. The Mustache Man, as I call him because I didn't get his name. Call him the Mustache Man. Who is
Kadir,
also...
I think his name was Kadir.
Kadir. He also works at the newspaper.
Yeah, he's like another writer, right?
Yeah.
He's like a rival writer.
Yeah, and is investigating Ali because he's up to something. Yeah, so the Mustache Man goes to Ali's, again, in classic sitcom style, just walks in.
I also love, like, HOMOTI's a fucking idiot. So, like, Hachi's like, she's left the house, and she's like, don't let anyone come in.
Yeah.
If the doorbell rings, don't answer it. Don't let anyone in. And what does this fucking moron HOMOTI do? As soon as the doorbell rings, he's like, who is it? And just lets him in immediately.
I'm HOMOTI. Yeah.
I'm HOMOTI. Yeah, we know, mate. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
Ali yok mu? Ben homotiyim.
And the mustache man, he's like, come on, Ali asked me to take you to him, so let's go. And he fucking drapes his jacket on top of Homoti's big bulbous head and
carries him off.
Carries him off, puts him in a taxi, drives off with him. So now it's a kidnapping film.
Got some pretty good music playing over this scene as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what movie it was stolen from.
Yeah, that's a good point. But then we get, this is probably the most upsetting shot. And it's a real, like, grimy, sinister shot. So you've got the fucking mustache man on a chair with his camera. Homoti's on the floor, like, on his hands and knees, like, begging him not to print the story. And the guy's like, I'm gonna print it. Come on, smile for me. Do it. And it feels like a gross, like, fucking porn film or something.
And I think, as well, like, with Homoti's big fat ass, it really adds to that.
Yeah.
Because you really see his butt in the scene. Yeah, you're so right.
It feels so dirty.
It feels like a casting couch kind of scene in some grimy, like, early 90s porn film.
It's so gross. But then Homoti uses his powers to stop him, and what does he do? He sticks his fucking camera to his face.
Yeah, what a great trick.
Very temporarily.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But the guy, Mustache Man's just like, what the fuck? He just can't believe it.
And then he just takes the camera off.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that was alright.
So now Homoti's in a fucking internal conflict because he's like, I've never used my powers for evil up until this point.
And then he uses his magic powers again to make Kadir, the mustache man, float up into the air.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of like hanging there, suspended in the air, like, whoa!
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I can't even see any wires. I was like, how did you do this? It's pretty good.
It looks less good later on.
It does.
Yeah.
they switch tactics later on.
Yeah. But then, so Homoti then leaves.
He just walks out
of the house, and a woman comes past, sees him, freaks out, and then Homoti teleports away.
Yeah.
So he's got teleporting power. He could have just teleported away from Mustache Man.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah. But yeah, Ali is then... He realizes that Homoti's gone, right? So he's like rushing off to go and find him. Did you catch what happens in the scene where they jump into the car and drive off to go and find Homoti? Did you see what the little thing? So, oh my God.
The little thing? What?
So in this shot, so there's a shot of this car like zooming away as they're like trying to, go and find Homoti because they think that they know that he's been kidnapped, and you see a dog run into the shot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It is like fucking centimeters away from getting flattened.
I did see that, yeah.
That was pretty fucking intense. Imagine if this film was responsible for the death of a dog. It would not be worth it.
No.
For this fucking film.
No. I guess it added to the tension of the scene, I guess.
Well, maybe tense. But yeah, so Ali and the intern and the editor, I can't remember who's there.
Yeah, they're all there. They're all hunting for Homoti.
Yeah, they show up to the mustache man's house, and this is what we see: a very bad green screen effect of him.
He's still up there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's floating up there, and they ask where Homoti is, and they just leave.
They leave him hanging there. Yeah. And of course, where is Homoti? Back on that fucking sofa.
That sofa. He loves that. Also, so that whole sequence. I mean, you could argue this about the whole film. That was so fucking unnecessary because he's just back at that sofa.
Yeah.
What was achieved by that scene? Nothing. What was achieved by any of this film? Any moment in this film? There's actually no progression in this film at all.
He comes and goes, doesn't he?
I think the biggest step is like Ali finds a gay alien, and then that's kind of the end of the story.
Maybe Ali finds love with the intern babe.
It's kind of a B plot, though, isn't it?
It really is.
It doesn't connect to the gay alien.
But I bet he was happy as the director and writer. He's like, cast the hottest girl I know.
He knows.
I don't know if he knows her, but he did all right for himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
They all come back to the home. Homoti's on the sofa, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot," and he drops the mustache man on the floor. So now he's not suspended up anymore. But he's still in his internal conflict of having to use his powers for evil. And he's like, Noti would be sad. So now we start to learn about the other aliens of Homon. Everyone's like, who is Noti? Apparently it's his brother. So he's like, I'll give him a call. And He goes into his little suitcase, which is lit up by LED lights, pulls out a photo, and again, it's just HOMOTI.
It's like a mirror.
Yeah.
So it's just like a mirror shot of him supposedly talking on like a video call, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a mirror?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's bad.
But then Notti's like, I love all your friends. And then there's another like weird, like happy moment of them coming together and hugging and kissing and being like, everything is so great, which is not explained whatsoever. And Hachi is like, I got it. And they all laugh. And I don't understand. And now, for some reason, they're showing another like romantic dinner between Ali and the intern babe, but it's like through a fucking weird picture frame.
Yeah.
They got this strange picture frame like of them having a great time. He gives her a ring, but it's not a proposal.
Yeah, this whole scene
it's all just bollocks.
I just don't understand any of the scene. And he also says stuff that's not even true. He's like, he says, we've been friends for a long time. It's like, no, you're not. Number one, you're not friends because you're immediately like fucking each other, like immediately.
Yeah.
And it's not been a long time. It's been like, what, like 2 days or something.
If
Absolutely
that, yeah.
baffling. And then we cut to Haydar.
Oh.
And so we've got this running thing where Haydar's got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who is like a football player.
Yeah, I
like
guess
soccer
so.
player. And he's like
the establishing shot though, fucking hell.
of the scene.
Yeah.
With the
The
photo.
football player, the photo. Because we go from this like romantic dinner between the two of them, and we just cut to a picture of like a black football player.
And he's taking it off.
Yeah, but it starts like really close up, and it slowly zooms out, pulls out. I'm just like,
Who's this guy?
who's this?
Yeah.
Because we don't know. We've never seen this guy as a character or seen his picture before this, but there's just an establishing shot of some black football player. And then after a long pullout, what was the gay guy's dude?
Haydar
just, as you said, rips it up.
And this is the scene where I really questioned what this film was and what it was trying to say about homosexuality, because this scene is really presented like a fucking joke, and it's like playing this sort of goofball music over the top. And it felt, when I was watching this, I felt like it was like, look at this fucking gay fool. Like that was like the vibe of this scene.
Right.
But whereas before that, I was like, it surprisingly doesn't seem homophobic. But then this scene, I was just like, I don't know what they're going for with this. I don't know what this scene is. But anyway, old mate Haydar goes to see HOMOTI for some advice. And has this like sad chat with HOMOTI, which is immediately derailed with the knowledge that we get that HOMOTI is friends with E.T.
Yes.
The actual E.T.
So, not only is this a rip-off movie, but the actual E.T.
Yeah, the real E.T.
appears in this film as well.
Yeah. And so he takes out his mirror communication device thing, and we see this what is very obviously like an E.T. toy with like glowing eyes. I wonder if this is one of the Turkish like rip-off
that's
toys.
what I thought. Yeah,
showing up in this, and it's so fucking awkward and shit because it's like filmed on a mirror, so they're just holding an ET toy off screen. So when people are talking to this device, they're never looking at it because it's a 2-shot. So it'll be like the person and then the mirror, them holding the mirror next to them, away from them, with fucking ET on it. Fuck.
This
is mindless shit.
When I saw this for the first time, this scene broke my brain.
Yeah,
I was like, hang on, you've got the actual E.T. And when he's like, yeah, he's my friend, I'll call him. I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen?
What's this gonna be?
Nothing could have prepared me for what actually happened, being a shitty bootleg E.T. toy fucking shot into a mirror.
Isn't E.T. also talking? He's just like, oh, hello.
Yeah, and he's got a really weird voice.
He's like, brr, brr, brr.
Şu anda Ali tehlikede. Hemen gitmeliyim.
Oh, fucking hell. Fuck you, HOMOTI.
But E.T., he's like, Ali is in danger. And HOMOTI vanishes away. He's just like, all right, bam.
He's like, I'm out of here.
He's like, gotta go. I guess we can assume to save him. And now we've got 2 mustaches.
but not the previous mustache men.
Different mustaches.
New mustache men.
Ali is tied on a chair. He's got guns to his head. All of a sudden, guns are now involved. And they're like, tell me where HOMOTI is, or I'll kill you. But he's like, never. And then HOMOTI appears, and this is great. So the mustaches, they're looking for HOMOTI, right? They got a gun to Ali's head, like, tell me where the fuck he is. And then HOMOTI appears, and the mustache goes, who the fuck are you?
Yes.
And then
who you're looking for.
And then he shoots him.
Yeah.
So the mustache shoots HOMOTI. He just shoots him.
Yeah.
And then Ali starts freaking out, and he's just like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's like, yes, why? He's like, well, he shot you. And he goes, no, he shot himself.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the mustache who's covered in blood.
Yeah.
Then HOMOTI, with his super duper magic powers, makes them jump into the ocean.
Yeah, he sort of teleports them out somewhere else.
They do this like awkward jump cut where they jump up into the air, and then we cut to them just falling into the ocean.
Yeah. And this is then it gets pretty intense after this.
Yes.
So Ali's been rescued, and HOMOTI's like immediately telling Ali how much he loves him and is kissing him, and they have this like heartfelt talk where HOMOTI's like crying again about not being with Ali. It's a lot.
It is.
It's really a lot. It's a lot of love talk.
Yeah.
But Ali's like, I love you too, but our love is different.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like...
There are certain scenes that feel very like genuine within this shithole of a movie.
Yeah. I
but you're
totally
like,
agree.
that's actually kind of applicable and real, and I can totally see this being an actual conversation.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I do genuinely feel quite sorry for HOMOTI in the scene. Like, it's quite a tragic scene.
It is.
And then the next bit is one of the most fuck things I've seen. So Ali's seemingly successfully explained to HOMOTI, like, look, I love you, but it's not a romantic thing. So that kind of feels like maybe that's going to be the end of the film. But no. Then we cut to Ali and the intern in bed together, I guess, post-fuck. And HOMOTI is outside rifling through the intern's purse, and he pulls out lipstick and starts covering his fucking face with like all over his fucking face.
But it's like that fucking deadpan, no expression face.
No expression, just lipstick on his fucking...
And then he starts walking towards the room.
And you're like, no, HOMOTI, don't do it. Covered in lipstick.
Covered. And it is quite tragic. And as you said, you feel bad for HOMOTI, despite this film being an absolute pile of steaming dog shit. You're just like, oh my God, don't. Like, this is a very real scene.
Yeah.
It's like his final, like, shot at having a chance with Ali, trying to make himself look like the intern that Ali loves with a lipstick, but it's like it's smeared everywhere. It's very uncomfortable. And then he goes to the door, he opens it all lipsticked up, and they're rolling around in bed together, and he just decides,
that's it.
I don't have a chance. And he walks away.
The end.
Not the end.
Not quite.
So then we're back with fucking Hachi trying to get more food from the grocers and stuff, until she finally gets fucking bonked in the head. And
classic bonking.
I love a bonking.
We love a bonk on the pod.
On the pod.
We love a bonk on the pod.
And it knocks some sense into her, because she's like, nah, I deserve that.
Yeah.
I was a cunt. And then she's like in... It doesn't seem like a
pharmacy?
hospital. It looks like a pharmacy with the pharmacist like bandaging her up. And she keeps yapping on and on and on until the pharmacist just like bandages her mouth shut.
Good move.
Good. So, anyway, they all go home and HOMOTI is gone. They go on a massive hunt for him and they track down his UFO. And he's just about getting ready to leave.
Is that enough?
He's had enough.
Back to the
well,
dictatorship.
he couldn't be with his love, so he's like, I'm going home.
Yeah,
as you said, back to the dictatorship and spend a day indoors. And everyone is commenting on how Hache looks, because she looks like a mummy at this point, all bandaged up. And HOMOTI's like, you made Ismo, the grocer, angry, and he destroyed your head. She's like, it's not destroyed, darling. And he goes, he destroyed it completely. Anyway. So he removes the bandages from Hatch's head, and by doing so, completely removes her head. So it's like an Invisible Man type deal.
It's a little gag.
A little gag for laughs. But then he, like, pops it back on.
And no laughs were had by me when I watched this scene.
No.
Just watched it in deathly silence.
Yeah. It's been a long journey up until this point, hasn't it? But they sing a song, and it's all happy, and they say their last goodbyes, I love yous, and then he flies away in his UFO, which really just looks like a hat flying through the air. And the last shot of Ali looking up to the brightest star in the sky and saying hello or goodbye or something. I don't know.
I don't think he says that. He's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
See you, mate.
But that's where he is.
Yeah.
And that's it. And no like end credits.
It just says sun.
Which means?
I guess the end.
There you go.
But sun.
Yeah.
HOMOTI.
HOMOTI.
HOMOTI.
HOMOTI. What do you
Oh man.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot to get through, and it's so much unnecessary shit. And I feel like it would have been a lot better if it just went like full on HOMOTI, like gay romance drama, whatever. But it does, like, it tries
romance drama HOMOTI.
It does, but it tries to do everything.
Yeah.
It's got the science fiction alien shit. You got the gay thing. There's like some weird love triangle. You got the kidnapping subplot. You got the annoying Hatcher character.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot.
You summed it up earlier. Where it's just a series of things happening.
Yeah.
And it feels like a really fucking shitty TV show. But it does have these odd moments where it's unsettlingly real in moments. Not real, but like it feels oddly heartfelt in these weird moments. And those moments are what make it probably worth watching. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's like maybe 2 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And most of it is just fucking junk.
I have nothing else to say about this film.
Yeah, it's one of the shorter films we've covered, but I feel like it felt the longest to me of anything we've watched. But I'm not annoyed that I watched it. I think it has enough moments that shocked me to make it worth a watch.
It's definitely wrong.
It's very wrong. Which brings us to the wrongometer, which we've not done in so long.
I've not even thought about this. We've got to set the new standard.
Wait, we should redefine what the wrongometer is because it's been a while.
Oh.
So it's how wrong the film is, how fucked up it is, how much it shouldn't exist. So it's not necessarily like how offensive or gross or whatever, but just how deeply wrong it is. This film is pretty wrong, and it shouldn't exist. HOMOTI, the design of that character, is one of the wrongest things I've seen in a while. But the film itself is mostly just like watching a really uninteresting sitcom with a few fucking weird moments thrown in. So I think purely for HOMOTI and his big fat ass and his disgusting anus mouth and just the weird moments and that weird balance of like, is this like pro LGBTQ or is it not? Like, what is this thing? And the fact that it's from Turkey with this like Islamic country that made this film, I think I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to say 5. Okay. I think. Yeah. How about for you?
Yeah, I totally agree with all those points. I think, as I said at the beginning of this, on paper, this is far more wrong than what the actual movie itself gives.
Yes.
So, yeah, like just the fact that there is a gay Turkish rip-off movie of E.T., the children's movie, from a country where homosexuality is extremely frowned upon and people were killed for it in the past. That alone, and then, you know, the film itself, it doesn't really show anything that is too outrageous. But I think for me, it's more of the situation of when it was made and in what context, and the fact that it is a gay rip-off film of a childhood favorite, I'm going to give it a 6.
All right.
I tell you what, I watched this for the first time like last year. Rewatching it. So watching it for the second time, I was just like, oh, I really don't want to do this again. It's a fucking slug to get through. I don't recommend this film at all. There are better E.T. rip-offs to watch. E.T. the Vagina, definitely do that.
It's a hard watch.
Yeah. So, for this mini season, we have devised a little game, if you will, where instead of outright saying the film that we will bring to the next episode, the person will read the synopsis and the other one will have to try and guess what it is a rip-off or adaptation of.
So I'm going to read the synopsis and you have to guess.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be really hard.
Oh, fuck.
I feel like we've already found the holes in this scheme that we've got.
Sorry, before we do that, can I actually just try I want to read the synopsis of HOMOTI, because I haven't done that yet, and just see if it actually, like, computes. Let me just read this. The synopsis of HOMOTI was, Ali is a journalist who conducts unsubstantiated interviews. While taking photographs for a story about aliens, he comes across a flying saucer. Out of it comes HOMOTI from the planet Homon. HOMOTI does not want Ali to report on him because he does not want to be recognized in the world. However, when journalists soon learn of his existence, they compete for the news. HOMOTI will have to use her special power.
Her?
Her.
I don't know about her. Yeah, I feel like I could probably guess that was easy.
It's the T. It's in the T.
It's in the T.
If there wasn't a T
that would be quite hard.
it would have been difficult, wouldn't it?
Okay, do you want to hear for the synopsis of the film for next week?
Yeah.
I think you will not be able to guess it from the synopsis, but you might be able to from the tagline. So I'll save the tagline for afterwards. Okay, the synopsis for next week's film. The spirit of an ancient evil queen possesses the body of a young anthropological student who then goes on a murderous rampage. Can you guess what this film is a rip-off of?
Oh my god. I mean, reading that, I would have gone to something like Child's Play or something.
Right, okay. Now let me read the tagline.
Yeah.
And see if you can guess what it is. She mates... ... Then she terminates...
I think you gave that one away. Is it a Terminator ripoff?
It is a Terminator ripoff. So next time we are doing Lady Terminator.
All right.
A film that I've been so... this has been on the list since the beginning of this podcast.
Nice.
And it is one of the more widely seen, widely available films that we've covered. But fucking hell, I'm fucking excited to talk about it.
Where is it from?
It's from Indonesia.
Oh, good stuff.
And we're staying in the late 80s.
Nice.
But it is... You're going to love it, mate. It's a banger.
I can't wait.
So everyone, make sure you watch Lady Terminator. Very easy to find. But we'll be talking about that next time. And in the meantime, how about you get on over to... What are the things that people listen to this on again? Spotify.
Yeah.
Give us a rating there. Apple Podcasts. Go give us a review there. And we're going to start putting the episodes up on YouTube as well, because a lot of people have been asking for that. So hopefully by the time this comes out, you'll be able to listen to our episodes there. And you can also give us a follow on...
Show me something wrong. At Instagram.
It's not the other way around. On Instagram.
Instagram.
I don't know. Just go to Instagram, type in the name of the podcast.
Around.
You'll find it.
Jesus.
And that's all we're on. Let's just say that. That's what we're on now. We don't talk about the other one anymore. The other one.
The other one.
It's done now.
It's done.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to be back.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
HOMOTI.
Benim adım Homoti.